All right. All right, another close game for you guys. I mean, how frustrating is it just to, come down to the wire and have another close one that was in reach for you guys?
It's very frustrating, but at the same time, we know that we're getting better. So it's kind of it's positive in a sense.
Do you know that you only had 4 guys score in the game?
Some of them were open.
I didn't know that actually.
There were 4 guys. It was you and Seth and Zach and Bibbs. I mean, when you hear that, I mean, is that pretty incredible just to know that you guys were the 4 contributors to the score there?
Yeah, it's kind of shocking to me, but everybody helped so much that I didn't even notice that they didn't even score.
I mean, what do you think the difference is in the game? What do you think tonight's game came down to?
It's hard to tell. A lot of things that go into winning and losing a game, but it's still hard to tell, honestly. They made a lot of threes, obviously, which is hard to overcome. They obviously made 12 threes, which is 36 of their total points, so that was hard to overcome. But it's hard to put my finger on it with what the final thing was, why we lost.
How frustrating is that, though, when you come down and you guys make a play and you get 2 points and then they come down and they get 3? I mean, is that, from a mental aspect, does that, kind of suck? Just feel like you're always, 1 point behind them?
Not really. I think a basket says the same. Obviously, at the end of the game, obviously threes are worth more than 2s, and we know that, but not really. In the flow of the game, you just kind of think about scoring and getting stops, and that's pretty much it. And I realizing now that they hit a lot of threes. I obviously didn't even know they hit 12 threes. That's obviously a high number.
It seemed like every time you guys got close and got the lead close, they were able to hit a 3. What were they doing to get those looks from beyond the arc?
I'm not sure. I got to rewatch the film. I don't really remember.
They were 12 of 18 from three-point range. Was that just them being hot, especially obviously Lewis and Lee, or was that, could you guys have done anything better three-point defense-wise, or just ran into a hot shooting
I don't know.
team?
I mean, they give credit to them. They won. It was a hard-fought game.
Anything defensively at all, it didn't work out for you guys, or was it, anything you could have done better, or
not that I know. I mean, I don't want to speak. I don't have any proof of nothing. I got to rewatch the film and look at the numbers and stuff.
Defense in general, it seems like a lot of your losses this year, you've given up 80-plus points. What has to tighten up there for you guys to maybe sneak out a couple more of these wins like this?
I mean, anytime a team shoots 67% from 3, it's hard. It's hard to overcome that. We just got to keep knuckling up. We're a small team. We got to keep rebounding like how we've been. The last game we got out rebounded by 20, but we did a much better job today. So we just got to keep building off of that.
You've got a lot of experience as an ACC basketball player, so you've been through the ups and downs of Virginia Tech and Maryland. You know how these seasons go. It's kind of a up and down experience from start to finish sometimes. What can you say to these guys so maybe don't have quite as much experience as you?
That we got to just move on. It's a long conference season, and we got 2 road games coming up, and I already told them that the road games are really important. You really need to grab some road games. So we're gonna do as best we can to get some, try to steal some this weekend and early this week.
Well, we came out and we competed and we got the game close again, and we just got to keep on moving on and adjust from this.
What could you guys have done better on defense today? Anything, or just ran into a hot shooting team? Or
we contested. We played as hard as we could. We kept them off the glass. They only beat us on the glass by 3. They just made some hard shots. We had hands in their face, so they made hard shots.
Yes, it seems like in a lot of your losses this year have given up 80-plus points. Like even if you go back to Alabama State and Iowa State and even the non-conference games, what exactly has to tighten up defensively to maybe where you guys can sneak out a couple more of these wins and some of the higher scoring games like this?
We need to just keep on taking every possession important, treating every possession like it's the last possession, and taking away air space, crowding them, making them put it on the floor, staying in the drive, and just keep on playing as hard as we can and finish possessions with a rebound.
Offensively, you did exactly what you wanted to do, probably, because you drove to the lane, you made over 30 free throws, like your recipe for winning, but it didn't work out today. Why did this time not work out?
They just made a lot of threes, so that's the reason they didn't work out. They made a whole lot of threes. We contested them, we kept them off the glass, but they just made some tough shots. So.
guys didn't struggle with turnovers. You did a good job rebounding. You got them into foul trouble. Do you feel like your guys did everything you wanted and it was just the threes were the difference?
That's in essence what I told them. I think the reason that we got beat the previous 2 games were a little bit too high of a turnover rate, giving them too many offensive rebounds, and too many points in transition. And I think that those are the things that we addressed physically and mentally over the last 2 days. Yeah, so we had less turnovers than they did. We had the same number of offensive rebounds they did. We gave them 4 points in transition, and they shot 1 more ball than we did. So I apologize to the team. You guys did everything that I asked you to do. Thought you played with great heart, great energy, and 3 of those 12 3-point makes weren't contested. 1 we went under a fade screen, 1 we went under a ball screen, 1 we just were ball watching, a little late on the closeout. But man, they hit some great shots, and those 2 graduate transfers were huge.
You only had.
Why did you apologize?
Well, because I think that I think as a teacher, I don't know that I'm very good at it, but I think if you're a teacher and you're asking your students, this is what you need to learn and this is what you need to do, and if they do those things, then at some point it has to be the coach's fault. Because, like, so they're number 1 in the country in defensive field goal percentage, and our OER is 1.1. Wow. So we call three consecutive baskets a heat. 3 consecutive stops a turkey. We had 8 heats against the number 1 defensive field goal percentage team in the country. Number 1 or 2 in offensive rebounds as far as points per possession. They score 9. We make 33 free throws and we only turn it over 12 times. I would say we're going to win that game.
You only had.
So I think I should have apologized.
Are you pretty happy with how your guys adapt from game to game to what you want them to focus on? You know, you said they did what you wanted today, and that's kind of a change of what you've been doing.
Yeah, I think that I think there has been some maturity and growth, particularly this month, partly because of the competition, I would think. And you know, I think when you go through some of the experiences we've had since the start of the year, without a coach having to tell you how important a possession is, I think it becomes fairly evident really quick when you've played in the games that we've played in. Yeah, I have been pleased. I was pleased tonight.
And you only had 4 guys score for you. Is that a concern, or because of the point total, did it not bother you?
Well, some of those guys, their forte is not scoring. I think that's the first game that KJ's played where he's 0 across the board except for fouls. We do depend upon KJ to help us a little bit. But other than that, no. But we got to try to figure out how to stay out of foul trouble. That we don't have enough of a margin where guys are having to sit for longer than normal. But I thought Johnny was big, and as far as helping us on the glass, no, I wouldn't read too much into it. I mean, those are our 4 best offensive players that scored.
Well, it's 54 fouls, 72 free throws. Is this Exhibit A in your rules?
Yeah, I told you when we were at Boo's tournament in the spring, I have no equity in rule changes. I'm not going to comment on officials. I'm not going to comment on what time the game starts, where the game's played. But I do think, as I told you in April when you asked, if it's called by the letter of the law, then that's what you get. And I'm not disagreeing. But as I told you in April, I'm not saying I'm smart. I said that to you then, I'll say it again now. 72 free throws is a lot. And I guess what I would say is all the smart people that made the rule change, it does help the team with the best players because the possessions are going to be higher. Removing a timeout, that's part of it. It does take away some strategy regardless of what Twitter says. But it can turn into a free throw contest. And within how we play, as you asked on the teleconference, that's what I want. Because that's part of the reason why our OER is what it is. And that's why we're #1 in the country and all that stuff. But we're relying on that. And those rules do help us specific to that.